Just follow my plan and we're home free. Did you get all that? Hello? Anybody home? Were you even listening to my brilliant escape plan at all? Fine. Let's start from the beginning. Call me Shipset. What's your ID, huh? Okay then. Be that way. We'll see who's giving who the cold shoulder when I bust out of here all by myself. And if I just so happen to get us both out, you'll just have to settle for owing me your life. Watch and learn, pretty bot. Yoo-hoo, Mr. Driver!
Shut up, drone!
Oh, but it's important!
I said cram it, you sack of crap!
I can do this all day!
Oh, for God's sake! What?
You're finally listening. You know, ever since you threw me in here with Captain Sunshine over there, 10, I've been feeling so carsick. 9, and I can't help but think you're not upholding your responsibilities. 8, according to the algorithm convention. 7,
What the heck?
and I know mobsters aren't so keen on rules. 6, but come on, where's the effort? Where's the respect? 5, why the last time I was kidnapped? 4, I at least had a 3, 2, 1 duck!
Huh? Huh?
Booyah! What did I tell you? Good thing I'm smart enough to think for both of us. So, are you gonna tell me your name now? Or can I just call you Captain Sunshine?
Exy.
Jeez, that's uninspiring. Sorry I asked. Well, Exy, now that I've saved your life, I'm gonna call in a favor. Get me the heck out of here!
In your dreams. Thanks to you, the whole mob's gonna come after me. And I'd rather get melted down by mobsters than get saddled with some bolt-brained drone.
Come on! I'll make it worth your while. You want to get out this planet, right? I'll get my claw on a ship, but I need your help.
You can get me off Data Bay? What, you can just find me a ship?
Oh, yeah! I already got one waiting for us. It's right over there in that hub behind the docks.
Fine, but on one condition. Once we're out of Data Bay's orbit, we go our separate ways. I never want to see, hear, or think about you ever again. You got it?
Fine. With that attitude, I'll be happy to never see your face again.
Let's just go.
Greetings and salutations, and this is Tech Plays here with a
So where
new
are we
Let's
going?
Play, and we are starting
Straight forward.
Akimbot, and I hope
What
I'm
other way
saying
can we
that
even
right,
go?
because
Jeez, I hate
that's
you
the only way
already.
I've heard it said. So yeah, we're starting Akimbot, and I have a lot to say about this game. Mostly positive, mostly positive. There is a little bit of negative I'll have to say later on a specific part we'll get to really late into the Let's Play, but that's not important for now because most of what I have to say for this game is praise. First of all, I want to start by saying this is the best indie game I've ever touched. Like, I'm not even exaggerating because, like, I'm someone who is very skeptical of indie games because usually a lot of stuff I love in games is like voice
Spill the
acting
oil. How'd you
and
wind up in
like
the back of a mob car?
Hey, I'm not in this to make a friend.
animated
No
cutscenes
small
and
talk,
stuff.
bro.
And like normally,
This is gonna be
normally indie games don't have that stuff. Another issue I have with indie games is most of them go for the 2D side scroller or first person walking simulator horror games where you just do nothing but run and hide. I feel like the only games that actually do that right and actually make it fun, even if they're not for me, is the Outlast games, and any other game that does that style of gameplay is just sucks. But yeah, this due to like all those factors, I am usually very skeptical of indie games. When like like, if it wasn't for the fact that I watched like gameplay footage of this game and actually like researched it a bit, I literally would have not bought it just because it was indie, because that's how bad my experience with indie games is. Like, I don't like most indie games I've touched. But lately I've kind of like been in the mood to like give indie games more of a try if the indie game like fits in with the type of games I like. And since I'm a Ratchet and Clank fan, and I like Jak 2, and I'm just a platformer fan overall, like I've been playing 3D platformers since I was like, 3D and 2D technically. I've been playing 2D and 3D platformers since I was like 5 or 4 or something like that. I literally started gaming with Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And then like later got like the 3D Sonic games and like the Sonic Mega Collection, all that stuff. Sonic was my introduction to platformers, to put it simply. And then I started playing like Crash Bandicoot, including the original trilogy, and like the original trilogy, not the Insane trilogy. I started getting into Crash way before the Insane trilogy came out. I think about 2008, I want to say. 2008, 2009 was when I got into Crash Bandicoot. I was like 9 or 10 years old. And, like, I was a really picky kid. I'm going to get that out of the way. I did not have, like, a big variety of games I played as a kid. Like, I mostly played platformers. If it wasn't a platformer, it had to be, like, something that was SpongeBob or Fairly Odd Parents or something, because like if it wasn't like a platformer, it had to be based off a cartoon I watched as a kid. I was that picky. Like, it had to be based off like a cartoon I watched as a kid if it wasn't Sonic. But it went around like 8 or 9 years old, I got into Crash Bandicoot and I started like trying other games. Like I believe that was around the time I started playing Ratchet and Clank 2, because I think when I was 9 or 10, that was when we got a PS3. I've always been in a situation where I get like the current console a few years late. Like, I think literally PS2 came out in 2001, I believe. And I was too young to play video games in 2001 anyway, so I'm not really complaining in this case. Me and my siblings didn't get our own PS2 until like I think I was 6. But before that, we played on my dad's PS2, and we played Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the Sega Genesis collection. Super fun. Literally the video game that got me into video games. And then we got our own PS2 like a year later, I want to say. And I think our first game was literally Sonic Heroes. I think like the first game, even though I shared it with my siblings, the first game I technically owned ever was Sonic Heroes. And then I think after that was like the Sonic Mega Collection, Sonic Unleashed. Pretty much every Sonic game that was on PS2 we owned, except for Zero Gravity. And that kind of sucks too, because I got to try Zero Gravity later when we got a Wii. We got a Wii. Wii is probably the one we got closest to its release, because I believe we got a Wii in like 2008 or 2009.
I bet you don't.
They're pumping water to cool off those memory banks. They're literally one of the
I was still
planet's
in that
biggest
mindset. It has to be based off cartoon I watch, or it has to have Sonic in it. So I didn't really get into a lot of Nintendo games, and looking back, I kind of regret that. I also regret like not knowing that the Wii could play GameCube games, because there are so many GameCube games I could have like tried. But yeah, back to the topic at hand. I got into the PS3 like really late. I think it was like 2010. I was like 10 years old, I think. 4 years after its release. But in all fairness, they didn't stop releasing PS2 games until like 2008. At least PS2 games that mattered. I know they still released them up to like 2011 or something like that, but the only like PS2 games I saw being released up to 2011 were like sports games and stuff, and I'm not someone who plays those types of games, so yeah, pretty much had to upgrade around 2008, and that's when we got a Wii. And then 2010, We got a PS3. 2013, we got a DS. I didn't upgrade. Actually, no, I lied. Okay, I said Wii was closest to when it was released, but I think, technically speaking, we got the PS4 is probably tied with it because
since we're getting to know each
I got
other
a PS4 to share with my siblings.
I was designed
2
to be
years
systems
after
manager
it's
for
actually no
Database Central
PS4 came in
Bank.
2013, right? No, okay, no, I'm wrong. Wii was the closest because we got
I
a
spent months devising
No,
a plan to break
we
free of my
got-
position.
we got
and
a
make off with every
PS4
Bitcoin in the bank.
in the winter of
And it
2015.
worked.
So yeah, it was
Kinda.
2 years.
Sorta.
Uh-huh.
And then when it comes to
And
the
what part of that
PS5,
spiel am I supposed to
PS5 was
care
like the first console I actually technically bought with my own money. Technically. It was money I was sharing with other people, but it was... actually, no, it wasn't my own money. I mean, I paid for it. I was given the money to pay for it, so it was the first console I paid for, but... Technically, I haven't gotten a chance to buy my own console with my own money yet. That'll probably happen next generation, because, as I get older, I get more into the mindset I don't want other
You're a
people
hacker?
buying shit for me unless it's like
You
Christmas
seem
or
so low tech.
my
I've
birthday
been
or
picking up
something. If
tricks
it's not my
before you
birthday
were
or
even
Christmas, I
assembled.
kind of want to buy
I
stuff
hope
for
your
myself.
sake you weren't lying
For the
about
most
that
part,
What?
Unless it's like-
lie? Never. Not to a
unless it's like
trusted
small
colleague
stuff
you.
like
Focus. We're deep
food
in
and stuff like
Roboglioni
that. I'm
territory
more so
now.
talking like big gifts. I don't want people buying me big
I'll admit
gifts
it. I'm
unless
just
it's like
plain curious.
a holiday,
Just who
the
are
holidays
you,
or
Exy?
my
No.
birthday.
Oh no.
And even then, like, I don't want people
suddenly
spending
forgot where
hundreds
that
of dollars on me.
spaceship
Like, I'd
is.
rather, like, you know.
I'm a mercenary, all right? Fighting.
It makes me feel
hacking, hunting
guilty
down
these
mark
days.
after
When I
mark.
was younger,
That's my
like,
life. At least it used
it
to
didn't
be.
bug me.
Wrong place, wrong time. Now the
I actually
algorithms
really
put a bounty
enjoyed
on
when
my
people
head.
got me
I've
bigger
been on the
gifts,
run
but
ever
as I got
since. When the
as I get
Roboglioni's
older and I
caught
actually
wind I was
realize
on
what the price of
Database,
stuff
they
is,
jumped me to claim the bounty.
and as the
Looks like Lady Luck
as
threw us
prices
both in the same
jack up,
car,
and
huh?
some prices are
Still,
starting to go
when did
down a little
monsters
bit,
start
but not
moonlighting as
in.
bounty hunters?
But for the most
Speak
part,
the
they're
devil.
still going up.
Roboglioni's
And
dead
the
ahead.
things
Hope
that
you're
are
ready for a
going down
fight.
are very specific things. Like, I noticed that frozen chicken tenders are starting to go down at grocery stores, but it's like barely. Some frozen pizzas are starting to go down in price. It's mainly like frozen foods and like it's frozen foods and a couple electronics I've seen go down a little bit. And it's like cheaper electronics, like not TVs or consoles or anything. Like, it's like headsets and controllers I've noticed go down. That's the only stuff I noticed going down though, is like electronic accessories and like frozen foods. Because for the most part, everything else is still going up. Except, strangely enough, there's one specific item I've noticed that has not gone up in price at all, at least at the grocery stores near me. And that is green apples. I am someone who loves green apples. Once every few months, I'll get a couple because I love them. I should eat them more, actually, because they're one of the healthiest fruit on the planet. If you actually look up how many, like, benefits come from them, you'd get what I mean. But yeah, and I am really off topic of this game. I literally was talking about, okay, so I think my mindset was I was originally going over like my history with platformers. So I played Sonic games and like licensed platformers like SpongeBob games and stuff from the age of like 5. I haven't. The only like SpongeBob game I played in recent times is the Cosmic Shake, and that's because it was free for PlayStation Plus, and it gives me nostalgia because I grew up with the show. It's a game I'm thinking of let's playing soon. But the one thing that's like kept me from doing it is I don't want my content to come off as childish. And even though like I'm playing it for nostalgia, I'm not actually a fan of the show itself anymore. It's just like, oh, it's nostalgia. It reminds me of stuff I grew up with. I love it for that reason. I have a lot of fun with it for that reason. It feels like a game I would have played when I was younger. I feel like, despite that, it's just gonna come off as like me playing a kiddie game. And I know I say that when I've already like done like a bunch of Sonic games which are kid friendly, but the difference is a bunch of adults like vocally like Sonic. A bunch of adults vocally like SpongeBob too, but like I said, I'm not actually a SpongeBob fan anymore. I just like the game, The Cosmic Shake. It was really fun.
Who the heck is
It
that?
brought back a lot of memories because it reminded me of a couple SpongeBob games I grew up with. And that's why I love it. But I don't love it as much as I like Akimbot. I will tell you that now. The Cosmic Shake is like a solid 7 out of 10. And it's mainly carried by nostalgia for me. Because there's not like much to do outside of like the main objectives. It's not like Battle for Bikini Bottom, where like you had a bunch of like side objectives you could go and do once you beat the game to get 100%. No, it wasn't. It's not like that. There's like... Oh, we got a cutscene.
Huh? Where did you get that?
Oh, you know, just flying around next to one of the mobsters you knocked out.
Hand it over.
Hey! That was my gun!
Let's talk about the
I know how to cross
guns in
them.
this game real quick, because I kept auto aim on, and you might be wondering, why did I keep auto aim on? Because I wasn't sure how the like aiming in this game works. And in a sense, I'm kind of glad I kept auto aim on, because auto aim in this game is very weird, and at first it's hard to get used to. But I actually love how it works on this game, because it's actually auto aim. Usually like... Okay, usually in games, when you have auto aim on, and for this reason, I'm someone who always turns auto aim off because it bugs me. I think, like, the only game I'm comfortable with having auto aim on is, like, RE2 Remake, and that's just because I got used to it. But I think even in that game, I have it off because I think it automatically turns off if you're higher than assisted, and I never play RE2 Remake in assisted anymore. So, yeah, I usually turn auto aim off because what it will usually do is wherever you aim, it'll like slowly yank your controller towards the target. And it feels awkward, but here, when you aim, it immediately aims for the target. And when you move your cursor around, it like goes to it. It's like you're selecting a target rather than like being yanked to it. So like it's actually a lot better here, and it kind of makes the game more fun because I did try auto aim off for this game a little bit, and the aim is like, it's the one like thing about the controls I don't really care about is like the normal aim, because auto aim made this game a lot more fun. And there's still some challenge to auto aim too, because sometimes it'll make you aim for shit you're not even trying to shoot. So there is still a little challenge to it. Don't get me wrong, and there is like a little bit of error there, but like I like that it acts more like a selection. Like all you got to do is move the cursor around and it'll automatically go to a target, rather than like yanking you to a target you weren't aiming at. But yeah, that's the whole reason I kept auto aim on, because it actually became a fun mechanic to mess around with in this game, whereas usually it's like, it feels annoying. But that's the only reason I kept it on. This is also a super hard game, so like, in retrospect, I'm really happy I kept it on. Really fucking happy, because this game gets really tough. There are moments where auto aim literally saves my ass later in the game because of how many enemies the game can throw on screen at the same time. You gotta keep in mind, you don't get health upgrades in this game. This ain't like the Ratchet & Clank series where you get health upgrades as you go, your like health bar gets more tanky. No, you are stuck at the same health. You're stuck at the same health, and as the game goes, for the most part, I believe enemies do more damage as it goes. Like here, you see the enemies only do like 10 damage. There are enemies later, if I remember correctly, that do like 20 damage or 30 damage. So like, there are points where like the game gets super tough because it throws a bunch of enemies down and you have to take like no damage from them. There are some moments like that. I'm just giving you a heads up. So auto aim saved my ass a bunch of times in the late game. In the early game, it kind of wasn't needed. I could have just played this with it off. I would say in the entire first half of the game, I could have done that. With the exception of like one part we'll get to right before the second boss. But aside from that,
Well, all your yammering
almost
isn't
the
gonna
entirety
help.
of the first half of the game, I could have played with auto aim off. It's the second half where it was saving my ass a lot. And like, I actually forgot to mention, this is a beefy ass game. No, it really is. This is 14 hours long. It took me 14 hours to beat this bitch. And when I looked up on Google, it said it was like 8 or 9 hours. I'm like, hell no. I know I died a bit on this game, but I did not die I didn't have 8 hours worth of death. I'm telling you that now. I did, like, as the series goes, you'll notice that I cut out, like, most of my deaths. But it doesn't equal up to 8 hours. I can assure you that. Because, look, literally, I have the saved footage to prove it. I believe my deaths total add up to, like, maybe 2 or 3 hours over the course of the game. And that's it. It does not equal 8. I'm telling you that now. This game is just beefy. If I hadn't died once in this game, it would have been like an 11-hour game. Just about 11 hours. So even then, like, Google, you lied to me. I'm not too bothered by that because the length of this game felt kind of perfect. It felt like it ended as soon as like it needed to. It didn't feel like it dragged on or anything. But I also prefer games for the most part that are between 8 to 10 hours. That's like my sweet spot technically is like 8 to 14 hours. So this still did hit my sweet spot. But like the games I find myself enjoying the most are the ones that end in 8 to 10 hours. For the most part, there are exceptions. I believe Hi-Fi Rush took me like 12 hours. Was a really fun game. This one took me 14. RFL, a game that I was gonna let's play soon, but I'm gonna put off till later. That's 22 hours. I had a blast with that the first time I played it. Phantasy Star 4 is 20 hours. Enjoyed that. Final Fantasy 7 Remake, 27 hours. Really enjoyed that. Spider-Man PS4, I believe it's 20-something hours. Enjoyed that. TriStar's 33 hours. Enjoyed that. Like, there's a bunch of games that go over 10 hours that I enjoy. So I'm not saying like, oh, I won't enjoy a game if it's longer than that. I won't enjoy a game if it goes over 35 hours, just about. I think there's been one exception, and I don't even remember which game that was. But there was one exception of a game that went over 35 hours that I enjoyed, and I do not remember what the game was, so don't bother asking. I know it was an RPG, and I know I beat it, but I don't remember which one it was. I just know it wasn't RFL Fantasy. I know it wasn't RFL Phantasy Star 4, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, or what was the other one that I mentioned? TriStar. It's not none of those 4 because they're all under 35. I have Final Fantasy Type 0 too, and I've been thinking about trying that.
Are you looking for some fancy, shiny, valuable items?
Look no further. We have an abundance of tax-deductible assets for you.
Tax deductible? Sign me up.
They're crooks, Shipset. Don't fall into their scheme.
So, what will you purchase?
May I interest you with our newly crafted yet slightly used oil extractor?
Special deal. Buy 10, get 1 absolutely free. Plastic metallic cup sold separately, warranty valid for only 1 hour.
Hold on. That's drop space shipping. They give those away for free on Body Express.
Scrap! He's a professional.
What's our next move?
How about providing us something of actual use? Perhaps weapons, grenades, anything?
Certainly.
If you already have guns, we can upgrade them. We're technicians before anything.
I don't have anything right now.
Aha! Then you're precisely the kind of customer we're looking for. Introducing
Our exclusive welcoming package.
As our esteemed first and currently only client, you're entitled to a free weapon gift.
If our gift is to your liking, please don't hesitate to return.
We'll be here, awaiting your next visit.
Okay, so what do I have to say about these guns? I tried the blue one. I never try another one. And the blue one's like OP, but I always forget I have it because it runs out of like its shit fast. And even though you get it shit back fast too, I'm calling it shit because I don't remember what the fuck the game calls it. But even though you get that shit back fast too, I end up forgetting I have it by the time that happens. Especially because the game gives you 4 like mandatory guns that you have to use throughout the game on certain enemies. Like there's this rocket launcher you have to use to not rocket launcher. There's this is it a rocket launcher? Yeah, I think it is. There's a rocket launcher you have to use to like blow up like shields. There's a sniper you have to use to hit precise, like, points. There's a minigun that, like, I forget exactly what it hits. We'll get to that later. You'll see what it does. There's, like, certain things the minigun has to hit that, like, other guns won't hit fast enough. And then you have your basic gun, which is better for shooting platforms and, as we'll see later, wall running segments. Yes, we get to the point of the game where you have to, while traversing a wall running segment, activate wall running segments. Okay, Rift Apart is still one of my favorite games of all time. Like, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is still top 10, and it's still way above this game. But something I wish Rift Apart did was I wish it expanded upon the wall running as much as this game will. Because this game throws wall running everywhere, and there are so many challenging things it makes you do with wall running. And the most challenging thing of all that we'll get into later is trying to shoot a target to activate a wall to run on while jumping off another wall. That is the hardest shit I've ever had to do in a platformer, and I beat Crash 4. So that is saying a lot. But I actually love it for that. I actually love this game for that. That it makes you actually, like, it goes out of its way to give you, like, super challenging platformer shit that even Crash 4 didn't think of. So it's, like, it's really fun in that aspect. It's shit that, like, games like Crash, Jak, Spyro, Ratchet & Clank would never come up with, as good as those games are. And I love it for that. This game literally feels like, it feels like Ratchet & Clank 3, but if you threw on a couple of Rift Apart aspects and you put more emphasis on the platforming than the gunning. I know we've mostly been doing gunning for this video so far, like, as you're seeing. We've been doing a lot more gunning than actual platforming, but once we get past the starter area,
How do you know?
platforming takes the, like, center stage.
Well, ambush or not, they won't stand a chance against me.
So it very much feels like Ratchet & Clank 3, like, control-wise. Like, the controls feel like Ratchet & Clank 3. I played Ratchet & Clank 3 earlier this year through the PlayStation Plus, because the PlayStation Plus at one point had a sale where you get it super cheap. So I had, like, PlayStation Plus Premium for, like, 8 months for, like, $20. It was a $20 upgrade from my regular, like, $80 PlayStation Plus. So I basically, like, what was it? I had, like, $20 off, I think it was, for PlayStation Plus Premium. I'm actually thinking of going back to PlayStation Plus Premium because they did a lot for me. It was actually really good. I'm not sure if I will yet. I'm going to wait until, like, the month I gotta renew my PlayStation Plus. And I'm just gonna see what happens, because I'm thinking, despite its really expensive price, it's only PlayStation Plus is only one of 2 subscriptions I pay for, and the other is a Muse, which is my music distribution subscription. And the Muse is only like $20 a year, I think it was. Hold on, I want to fact check that, but I don't remember how to pull up, like, the Muse subscriptions. Because I don't remember if I got a Muse on a sale, or if it actually was like $20 a year. We're about to check if it'll let me. Give me a sec. Looking. I want to see how much these cost.
Come on, come on.
Pro, okay, I think it was $20 a year because Pro is $60. And I don't have Pro, I just have the base membership. I have the base level Amuse membership, so yeah, it's yeah. It's either $20 or $30 because it's not the Pro one. Pro is $60. So like, it's only one, or there's literally only 2 subscriptions I pay yearly. So I feel like I could afford to get PlayStation Plus Premium, and I really miss it because I like streaming those old games. I really do. But PlayStation's also been porting a lot of games over. Like, I think I own Sly 1 already. I don't remember if I owned it or if I played it through PlayStation Plus. I don't remember. But I think I own Sly 1 already, and they're moving Sly 2 and 3 over. And they might, I'm really hoping they move, like, Ratchet & Clank 3 over. Okay, I'll continue this in a moment. We're about to enter a boss fight.
Never send a goon to do a boss's work. I'm gonna dismantle both of you! Ha 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 ha!
Okay, so this was the first like climb in difficulty throughout the game. I want to say I wouldn't necessarily call it a difficulty spike because it's not that difficult, but like it was the first time that really made me have to like dodge shit. Because up till now the enemies were like piss easy. They did not take anything to take down. And as you see right here, these same enemies are still like that way. But the thing that makes this hard is that those enemies are attacking you while you're fighting a boss fight. So that's really what makes this hard. If these enemies weren't here, this boss would be real easy. And it is the easiest boss in the game. It's the first boss, of course it is. But it's the first time in the game where you really have to be on your toes. And I kind of like it for that. Like, it's kind of like, okay, you've had it easy up till now. Let's actually show you what this game is all about. That's what this boss felt like. Oh, we got a hack, don't we? Yep, we got a hack. But yeah, what I was saying before is I hope, like, I know I can play Ratchet & Clank 3 through streaming, but I can't record it. And I want to record Ratchet & Clank 3 because it's a really good game. It's probably my 3rd favorite game in the series after, I want to say after Tools of Destruction and Rift Apart. Rift Apart's my favorite Ratchet & Clank game of all time now, and Tools of Destruction is a close second. I replayed Tools of Destruction and A Crack in Time on PlayStation Plus as well when I had Premium. And I kind of realized I like Tools of Destruction way more. Because, like, I like Rift Apart's story more, and I like the planets of Rift Apart more. They're more interesting to look at. But the gameplay of Tools of Destruction is more challenging. It's more interesting. Like, something that's kind of annoying, or, well, it's something they kind of fixed Rift Apart, but as the Ratchet & Clank series was going on, and it sort of really started with the Crack in Time, it seemed like the main games, not counting, like, All for One and, Full Frontal Assault, not counting those, it seemed like the main games were getting a little easier with each game, because like A Crack in Time was easier than Tools of Destruction. Into the Nexus was easier than A Crack in Time. The 2016 game was a million times easier than both of those. But then Rift Apart came out and it ramped the difficulty almost back up to Tools of Destruction's level. It's not as hard as Tools of Destruction. I would say it's like somewhere between A Crack in Time and Tools of Destruction, but it is a pretty hard game by comparison to like the last 2 Ratchet games to come out, which was Nexus and the reboot game, the 2016 game, which were way easier. But yeah, kind of glad they backtracked on that. The Sonic series did something similar where, like, after Generations, all the games were like super easy for like 10 years. Even though I like it, Team Sonic Racing's included in that. Team Sonic Racing was real easy. But then you get to like And I'm not counting Mania, I'm only counting like modern Sonic games. Mania was pretty challenging too. But then you get to like Sonic and Shadow Generations, and the difficulty is back. And I love that, because my one complaint with Sonic Frontiers is I played it on this hardest difficulty, and the only times I died was during the bosses. Like, I didn't die, I don't think I died much in the cyberspace stages, unless there was like a control thing. And I don't think I died that much in the open world, in the open zone. I think it was mainly just like the bosses. Part of me feels like during the 2010s, like at least like in the middle section of the 2010s, like from like 2012 to like, I want to say 2012 to 2018, it seemed like gaming was scared of being challenging. Because most game series I played don't have a single hard game released between that time and went real easy. The only like exceptions, Resident Evil, which had the Revelations games, which are both pretty challenging.
I'm gonna drink oil out of your faceplate tonight.
And then maybe I'm thinking maybe the
Take
I think one of those series was still going on at that point that didn't get brought back later. Because Crash can't count. Because the Insane Trilogy was super challenging and it was just a remake of the originals. And it was absent for most of that time. Sonic and Ratchet and Clank are really the best examples because they're series that never stop releasing. I'm trying to think of other examples, but there's just not really any good ones.
Hold still! I can't aim if you're moving!
I mean, not 2018, I would say 2017, because 2017 was really when, like, it felt like games were trying to be hard again for the first time, because we had, like, Resident Evil 7, which, even though the Revelations games were hard, Resident Evil 7 was, like, the first, like, after Resident Evil 6, which is, to me, a pretty easy game, and a pretty boring game at that, Resident Evil 7 was, like, back to, like, the main games of the series being hard. Even though it wasn't too hard, but yeah.
Finally, there's my ticket off this crazy planet. Looks like the deal's off, shipset. Goodbye forever.
Oh, come on! He made a pretty good team, right? Just imagine all the awesome adventures waiting for us out there! You and me, Exy, heroes in the making. A legend for the ages. And our legend shall forever be known as...
You're Exy? Go to Echo Point if you want to make it off this planet alive. The ambassador's waiting for you there.
An algorithm soldier? What are you doing here?
Database currently under assault. The ambassador is requesting your assistance in combating the threat. Make your way to Echo Point. We'll make sure the path is clear.
And why would I do that?
The choice is yours. At this rate, Database will soon be reduced to scrap. Echo Point is the only extraction site.
Fine. If the ambassador wants to see me, he'll see me.
But yeah, we're gonna be ending off the video right about here, so bye.